The first game on Sunday, the early kick-off was played at Molineux, Wolves versus Everton. Wolves have had a hiccup of late. They've lost a couple of games, but they're still pushing hard for that Europa League place. And Everton's form has been patchy as well. Espirito Santo put Traore, Diego Jota, Moutinho on the bench. Podence, Neto and Dendoncker started for Wolves. For Everton, Coleman was on the bench and Gordon still keeping Bernard out. First 15-20 minutes, not a lot happening, a few half chances, a few easy saves for both keepers. Then 25-minute Podence, a sharp strike forced a decent save from Pickford. He certainly had to be alert at that near post. A minute later, a bit of head tennis in Everton's box, and finally an audacious bicycle kick from Jimenez, again saved by Pickford. We got to added time in the first half, and Dana treads on Jota just inside the box, and the referee awarded a penalty. It was a pretty unnecessary challenge, but he paid the ultimate price because Jimenez stepped up and converted, and that was 1-0 for Wolves. Into the second half then, what didn't take long for them to double their lead. Dendoncker heading in from a free kick from the right. His effort glided into the corner. So that was 2-0 for Wolves. Podence looking very, very lively, I might add. He clever feet created a yard in the box, and his strike caused some alarm in Everton's defence, and Pickford had to reclaim it after it initially squirted through his hands and looked like it was going to cross the line. Got serious doubts about Pickford. He can be fantastic, but he's not that good on the basics. 64 minutes, Jota escaped the offside trap, but again, Pickford this time thwarted the raid on goal. But then up the other end, Bernard found Dania inside the box, but his effort, his left foot shot was inches wide. And then 73 minutes, absolute cracker from Neves, and his ball found the pace of Jota, and this time the striker made no mistake. His venomous shot whistled past Pickford, and that was Wolves' third. And that was about it. Convincing win for Wolves then. I think Ancelotti's got some problems with this Everton team. They're going to need a bit of a clear out in the summer if he's going to have any success. Final score at Molineux then, Wolves 3, Everton 0. So to the Sunday selections from the Barclays Premier League. I'm going to start today's roundup at Villa Park, Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. But upon joining the transmission live on the internet, the commentators divulged what had materialised earlier that day in the UK, and that Wilfried Zaha had received a hurl of abuse via his Instagram account, and it's all connected, of course, with Black Lives Matter, and also a means to try and upset him ahead of this fixture. And apparently now the police have made an arrest. The regrettable fact is that it's a 12-year-old boy, and so I would have the parents in, or whoever is responsible for this boy, because they're shaping his evil mind towards a racist thought. So having said all that, before we get started, I also want to recognise the career of one Jack Charlton, the elder brother of the Charlton brothers, who passed away at the weekend, aged 85, and of course he was part of the victorious 1966 World Cup winning team with his brother when England won the World Cup. So some sad news there for football. Now to the team news. Sadita was up front for Villa. Coyote, I can never get that pronunciation right. Coyote was in for Palace. Still no Cahill, of course. I doubt if we'll see him again with that hamstring problem. First 5 minutes were pretty even, not a lot happened, but on 6 minutes Sacco got his head to a free kick on the right edge of the box. Well, we assumed it was a head. It went in the corner of the net, but the referee awarded a goal, but then VAR had to have a look at it, and he actually got a touch to the ball right near the shoulder and the arm, and the VAR decided it was arm, so it was disallowed. This followed the first of many fouls on Zaha, but no defensive challenge. But anyway, they got away with it, Villa. Grealish was looking sharp, but as always, he doesn't seem to have sufficient support. 18 minutes, Benteke bulldozed his way through, but Reina managed to clear before he had the final touch. A free kick from Hulahan on 22 was pretty easy for Gaeta, and then we had a little fracas between Mings and Saha, all a bit unnecessary really, and they both received yellows. 30 minutes, Sameta connected to an El Hamadi cross which went just over, and then Reina was in action again with a block and save from the Benteke. Benteke is certainly looking much improved towards the latter part of this season. The break's done him some good anyway, even if Palace's results have been pretty poor. Free kick on 48 minutes, Hulahan, and this time he found Trezeguet at the far post, completely unmarked, and he was able to slide it home and took Villa into the break 1-0 up. After the break then, Grealish fell over in the box, but the Van Arnhold, the culprit, but VAR didn't award a penalty, but Villa was starting to get on top, and Palace, to be honest, lacked some creativity. 57 minutes, Hurahan again, but it hit a pretty strong wall, and then veered off, but Gaeta managed to put it behind. And then we got to 59 minutes, and Trezeguet got his second. Palace really stationary, and the ball found Trezeguet, and he slotted it in through Gaeta's defence, and that was 2-0. Another Hurahan shot from distance had Gaeta struggling to push it up wide, but he managed it. 74 minutes, Palace now desperate to try and peg one back. Van Aanholt clear through on goal, but Reina was acquitting himself very well, and he thwarted the run. And then 77 minutes, Townsend had come on for Palace, and he created some space, a nice cross, but Benteke managed to head the ball over from 5 yards. In fact, he got in Dan's way, and maybe if he'd let it go, they could have been rewarded. And then right on the final whistle, Van Aanholt again put Benteke in the clear, but again it sailed over. The final full-time whistle went, and then there was a unsavoury incident involving Benteke after the whistle. when he apparently kicked out at a Villa player, and he received a red card from the referee. So all in all, a very bad day at the office for Crystal Palace. Final score at Villa Park, a much needed win for Aston Villa. They beat Crystal Palace by 2-0. So to the North London derby, a fixture that's always an attractive one on the eye. Spurs against Arsenal at the new White Hart Lane. Mourinho chose to put Vertonghen back on the bench, and Lamela was there with Bedwine. Kane and Son leading the line up front. For Arsenal, Pepe was back, but Saka benched this time. Mustafi still keeping Socrates on the bench. And where is Ozil? I think his career with Arsenal is just about over, and he'll be on his way in the summer. He's too temperamental, and he doesn't go down. Well, he hasn't gone down with any of the managers, really. Wenger he had problems with. Emery certainly couldn't get on with him, and it appears that Arteta isn't finding him easy either. So I think we've seen the last of him in an Arsenal shirt. An early effort from Moura. It was safely held by Martinez, continuing to deputise for the injured Leno. 9 minutes, Moura again put Kane through this time, and Kane tried to loop the ball over the advancing Martinez, but the keeper was too cute and too clever and got a hand to it, and it was cleared. 12 minutes, a break by Bellerin into the edge of the box, and he managed to get the ball to the far end of the penalty area, just on the edge. Tierney coming up on the left, and his shot was a good one, but it just went left of the target. But the first realistic opportunity for the Gunners. 16 minutes then, Aurier lost possession, and the ball was picked up by eventually Lacazette, and he was just outside the box, and he let go with a real fizz of a shot from distance, and it was past Lloris before he could blink. Absolutely fantastic strike. So the Gunners had taken the lead by 1-0. A couple of minutes later, a dreadful Kolasinac back pass to Luiz was misdirected and went too far. They had to turn and quickly chase back, but Son was there, and he is absolutely really quick, and he got ahead of Luiz, and he then was one-on-one with the keeper, and he put it wide of Martinez in the corner, and so Spurs had drawn level very, very quickly. These errors in defence for Arsenal must be a curse for Arteta, and interestingly, Luiz has just signed a new contract. 30 minutes, Davis hit a strike that hit the woodwork. And then another opportunity for Aubameyang from a free kick just outside the box, fairly central, and his effort went tantalising wide. But that was the score at the break, 1 each. Into the second half, 58 minutes, Lacazette feeds Aubameyang in the box, and his left foot effort hits the bar. It was a great effort, really. Lucky for Spurs. 71 minutes, and Kane glides past Mustafi to the byline and lays back to Son, but Martinez did enough to thwart the South Korean. And then on 78 minutes, another great piece of work by Aubameyang. He on the half volley. But Lloris managed to palm it round the post, and then on 80 minutes a corner on the left from Son, and the Arsenal defence a bit sort of static. Alderweireld he was in the box with a group of players, but he jumped above everybody and headed it wide of the keeper, wide of Martinez. And so Spurs turned it round. They were now 2-1 up. Basically, they had an opportunity to make it 3. But Lesoso's final effort was blocked. So disappointment for the Gunners. A relief for Mourinho. Final score at the White Hart Lane Stadium then, Spurs 2, Arsenal 1. So the last match of Sunday's fixtures was at the Vitality Stadium. It's Bournemouth at home to Leicester. Now things were getting very interesting up at the top of the league. The fight for the Champions League places. Of course, Chelsea had lost to Sheffield United, so Leicester were looking to really cement that third place a bit better, but they had Man U over their shoulders, looking very, very good indeed. So it looked a hard task for Bournemouth with possibly a rampant Leicester. Eddie Howe, he picked Solanke and Grunewald alongside Callum Wilson. For Leicester, no Chilwell, so Fuchs deputising at left back, and Pratt and Barnes were on the bench with Perez in for Newcastle. He used to play for Newcastle, but he's playing for Leicester now. And so early action, Perez into the action. He scoops his shot just over on 8 minutes. That was about it for the first quarter, although on 23 minutes, calamitous defending by Crystal Palace. They basically, Iniachu took advantage. He managed to get the ball across. The keeper and Kelly ultimately made a right hash of the clearance, and it fell to Jamie Vardy, and the next minute it was in the back of the net. So that was 1-0 to the Foxes. 36 minutes, and Vardy was in again after another defensive lapse, but this time his shot was blocked. Just before the break, there was an opportunity, but I'm trying to see who it was for. My writing's so poor. For Bournemouth. But a good save from Schmeichel. So at the break, Leicester up 1-0. Second half then, and a chance for Wilson, but he just couldn't get a final touch to a ball. A good move it was. And then 63 minutes. It's amazing how a football match can turn around. Up until this time, really, Leicester have been in total control of this. But a poor clearance from the goal kick by Schmeichel, and it sort of went straight to a Bournemouth player, and Callum Wilson it was. He went into the box. Schmeichel rushed out to try and correct his error, pulled him down. The referee had no choice but to award a penalty, and Stanislav stepped up, and it was 1-1. 3 minutes later, a Solanke shot got through some crowd of players, and it was sort of Schmeichel made another mistake, and it crept over the line, and so they were 2-1 up all of a sudden, Bournemouth. After that, Leicester sort of seemed to fall apart. 82 minutes, a third for Bournemouth. A Stanislas shot in the box, hit Evans and ricochet past Schmeichel. And then 86 minutes, we saw Solanke quick to pounce on a good piece of play in the box, and he flicked it past Schmeichel for 4-1. Absolutely incredible, really, that this match has gone from 1-0 to Leicester to 4-1 for Bournemouth in less than 20 minutes. And to make matters worse, after the second goal, I didn't actually see this on the highlights that I watched, but after the second goal there was an altercation in the Leicester net where Soyuncu kicked out at a Burnley player who was frantically trying to get the ball back to the centre circle, and the referee gave him a red card. So they did play with 10 men from a minute 67. But the long and the short of it, Bournemouth had won this game by 4-1. In interview, Howe looked rather shell-shocked, really, but seriously happy, particularly in light of the other wins over the weekend, with both Watford and West Ham winning. They had to win to keep up a chance of avoiding that drop. Villa, of course, had won as well. And the other important piece of news was Leicester had lost, along with Chelsea, and tomorrow night Manchester United are at home to Southampton. A win for the Red Devils tomorrow will put them into third place. Yes, I'll repeat that, into third place. And as you know, I'm a big fan of United, and so bring it on. That's my lot for Sunday.